before we go there. We are confident that the minority could only hold the city for only a few hours. The lack of weapons, facilities, logistics, all put the minority at a final disadvantage. Because you notice when they go out to march and whatever like that, none of those people have no knapsack, no water, nothing like that. They're just running out there like idiots, just running around the place. In this electrifying age of information, all is being exposed. Our message to the people and the citizens, the reporters, to all those concerned in regards to uplifting fallen humanity, and to the municipal employees who are and have been for a long time blatantly violating law and divine law. If you are really looking for the devil in this, look within. We offer excerpts from chapter 3 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran, divinely prepared by Noble Drew Ali, universally for all people of earth, the unity of life. 9. The higher self is the embodiment of truth. The lower self is truth reversed, and so is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. Their cores are full of bitterness and gall. Cause and effect is always in effect. Cause and effect is always in effect. So we also wanted to quickly just touch on the mind, since Dr. York's son and stuff like that is coming out woodworks all of a sudden, trying to talk about, what Pop knew and all that stuff. Let's just quote Pop right now. And let's see where Pop's getting his lessons from. He's talking about all this stuff. Lo, my child, true religion consists of more than ritualistic observances, baths and pilgrimages, but in loving, cosmic love, all embracing and all inclusive. In the presence of pure love, all distinctions and differences, as well as all hatred, racism, jealousy, egoism, are dispelled, just as dirtiness is dispelled by cleanliness. There is no knowledge higher than love. There is no treasure higher than love, because love is truth, love is God. One must strive to convert one's emotions into unconditional love for God, which is neither binding nor selfish. The emotions, when channeled properly, can be used to attain freedom. One should transmute the lower emotions into unconditional emotions. Emotions are weaknesses and must be equated with divine love, which manifests as peace and joy. The lower emotions are not suppressed, however, but are utilized and sublimated. Without emotions, there is no love. And without love, one cannot approach that infinite love that is. A child of God recognizes that both love and hate are two most powerful driving forces in life. Both emotions are healthy and essential to life, and to possess only one love or hate and be deprived of the other is to be crippled as a bird with only one wing. But to hate another human being is to hate yourself, and that too is fair. For there are times when you hate when you have done or done things you hate to do. A child of God realizes that both love and hate, in order to be constructive, must be directed in the proper channels, and to do otherwise is destructive and suicidal. I love peace, I hate war. I love happiness, I hate sadness. I love those who hate me. A child of God therefore makes a careful distinction between his or her loved ones and his or her enemies. Through the higher emotions, the devotee reacts out of the divine. With purification, the receptive heart receives the continual flow of divine love. The barrier between the individual souls and the Supreme Soul is the ego, an ever-present enemy. It manifests as a feeling of separatedness. Through purification, one does away with his feeling of separation, for in the ecstasy of pure love and devotion, the conscience of the individual self is lost. Mind your mind for the jewels of your soul. So there's some Malachi York L for you. And he got that love theme going on. So you know that he honors Noble Jwali if he's gonna put Noble Jwali's picture in his book that he wrote for the Nuwapians. Right? And remember that it's out of print. So the Nuwapians are gonna have it for you, unfortunately. Right? 8:53. So we hit a couple more of these questions. Peace Moors, our prophet gave us enough to save a nation. Now save yourself. And watch out, some of your own will try to put you back in slavery. I am Anthony Shanko Bay, Northwest of Mexham. Notice the press conference on YouTube of Moorish Americans in Philadelphia, but also notice their language when it was said, we are to live under their laws of the government and the dominate position, meaning as I check our national identity card and Hillary Clinton speaking from the Ben Franklin room, I am new, and would that cause friction to make the observation, or would you clear up the flag positions? I currently understand as you look, the Moroccan flag is on the left as you look in the person's speaking right. Well, look at it from the perspective of the card, that the stars and stripes shouldn't even be in there. The stars and stripes shouldn't even be in there, but the stars and stripes is in there because the claim is Moorish Science Temple. The claim is Moorish Science Temple. So within that jurisdiction of Moorish Science Temple, there has been corruption, as we know. So from what we're taught, the stars and stripes supposed to be in the middle, because that is the commerce banner. That's the banner to do the commerce between the two nations, which one was Morocco and one was United States of America, Republic. And then that stars and stripes was the banner. And one was the continental flag and the Moroccan flag, because the banner isn't the flag. So that shouldn't even be presented as being the flag. That should be presented as the banner. Right? So however you see the presentation as far as Moors, right, know that once the banner is in it and they have the banner first, then you already know. Because if you're Moorish American and then American is a corruption of Moroccan, then you should have two Moroccan flags. Why do you need that banner there? But the banner can be used in that fashion. Because when you check the Prophet's picture, he had the banner there, but it was upside down though. Right? And their justification of having it that way is that if you put it up and then you look from outside the window, the Amity banner is on the left and the Moroccan flag is on the right. So then that's how they set it up in the town, because they're like, but then on the inside, drew all these backs facing it. And then he's dealing with people who are that way, looking at it this way. So, what you talking about outside and all that type of stuff? What outside have to do with anything? Because if everybody's on this side where the Moroccan flag's on the right and the Amity banner's on the left, or the Amity banner's on the right and the Moroccan flag's on the left, then if that's how people are seeing it, then I would think that that's how Noble Drew Ali hung them, like that. Right? But, you know, the infiltration is what it is. So you're going to have, you know, things like that. You know what I mean? You're going to have things like that. Islam Moors, I have a few questions. Where did the slave master get the English name from? The British are Moors and were over there in Europe. They had quote-unquote white slaves. They had quote-unquote white slaves over here, North America and the 13 colonies. And when the quote-unquote white slaves made a deal for their independence with the Moors that were here, were the Moors claiming other names? And were they the European taking our English names in order to steal the land? Well, let's start. So you identified that the British Moors, right, were over there in Europe and they had quote-unquote white slaves. All right, so when the quote-unquote European had quote-unquote black slaves, right, what did Noble Drew Ali say? That the slave master is the one that gave them that name. So if the Moors were the masters and the Europeans were the slaves, then how'd they get their name? The Moors gave it to them. All the names that they got, the Moors gave it to them. Because only a master can do that. Right? As far as Europe is concerned, because we know that the Moors were present there and ruled there. So anybody who came there, they were under the Moors. Right? Anybody who came to Al-Andalus, you were under the Moors. Whatever you believed, you know, you had a right to that. But, you know, you do something here, we're dealing with you with our laws. Don't think you're gonna bring your little laws up in here and talk about we're recognizing that. You're not recognizing that stuff there. We have our own law here. You want to be here? You want to go to school here? All right, well, you go by the laws here. Right? The Europeans who were of the 13 colonies, when they were white, made a deal for their independence, right, with the Moors, right? So they made their deal to be whatever they want to call themselves.